Creating a space for low-income and first-generation students, why students, parents, and community members say it's so important.
Water people running into the freezing cold lake for, why people are inspired to take the polar plunge.
And students paying a higher price, why rent in Evanston is getting more expensive.
Those stories and more tonight on Northwestern News Report.
It's your news right now.
Good evening and welcome to the Northwestern News Report. I'm Rupa Pala.
And I'm Amanda Rooker. Thanks for joining us. Have you seen a statement in your Facebook feed about supporting a new space for low-income students at Northwestern? It's been circulating on social media, and NNN's Olivia Olander found out why the issue is so important for some students.
That's right, Amanda. The statement has been circulating all over Twitter and Facebook, and now it has 26 pages of signatures from people in the low-income community and outside of it, all to help these students build a space of their own here on campus.
Brett Mayfield lives in Willard Residential College, population 261. He comes from Welch, Oklahoma, a town with a population just a little more than twice that, 600 he estimates.
It definitely does feel isolating because, like where I come from, I never would have considered myself low income at all. And then I got here and I was like, oh my gosh.
Mayfield considers himself a low-income student at Northwestern. He's one of over 500 students, parents, and community members who have signed a statement requesting a designated space on campus for low-income and first-generation students.
So the statement essentially is just an ask for Northwestern administration to commit to have a first-gen low-income space be included in their master plan for development on campus.
I'm standing outside the Foster Walker Complex, which currently houses student enrichment services on the first floor. The statement asks that first-generation and low-income students have a space more like this one on Sheridan Road, the multicultural house.
1,300 plus students in this campus right now are Pell eligible, and a first floor wing of Flex is very soon not going to be an adequate space to properly serve that community.
ASG President Emily Ash drafted the statement with Quest Plus co-presidents Christian Reyes and Madison Hersey. They said they saw initiatives to admit more low-income students, but they saw a need to give these students more resources once they got to campus.
Northwestern needs to stop delivering empty promises to first-generation low-income students, and I think this would be a symbol of them actually committing to providing an inclusive experience.
Do you think they do a good job bringing low-income students in? Because there's like a big community here, but yeah, there are some things that I wish there were more of.
Emily introduced legislation for ASG to officially support the content of the statement. She said she expects it to pass on Wednesday. The ASG resolution is non-binding, so it's up to the school administration to take official action.
Thanks, Olivia. Another vote happened last week in Chicago, the city municipal elections. After Tuesday's vote, Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle and former federal prosecutor Lori Lightfoot will be headed to a runoff election on April 2nd to find out who will be Chicago's next mayor. Both women would be Chicago's first black female mayor, and Lightfoot would be the city's first out lesbian mayor. Tuesday's vote also determined that 10 aldermanic elections will head to a runoff, as will the race for Chicago's treasurer.
Planned Parenthood clinics in Illinois will continue referring women for abortions despite a new mandate from the Trump administration. The rule would cut federal funding for organizations that provide abortions or abortion referrals. Lawmakers in at least 20 states have teamed up to reverse the decision. In the meantime, Illinois Planned Parenthood says it's willing to stop taking government grants if need be. Planned Parenthood does not only perform abortions, it also provides birth control, cancer screenings, and STD testing. Many of the women who use Planned Parenthood services are low-income or women of color. Babies in the NICU could have more comfortable first days, thanks to Northwestern researchers. The group created a replacement for the wires traditionally used to monitor premature babies' vital signs. It's a set of wireless patches that are placed on the baby's chest and foot. The patches are gentler on the baby's skin and allow the baby to be held more easily. They also measure the blood pressure and blood flow, which aren't monitored by current sensors. The sensors are expected to be in U.S. hospitals in 2 to 3 years.
Women scientists get less federal funding than their male counterparts. That's according to a study published today from Northwestern Medicine and the Kellogg School of Management. The study found first-time female researchers get on average $41,000 less than first-time male researchers with similar qualifications. Researchers said less funding for female-led projects means those women are less likely to be later promoted in their careers. A new council will help with faculty searches for Northwestern's Asian American Studies and Latino and Latina Studies programs. The Intercultural American Studies Council will be able to hire faculty who aren't already tenured in another academic department. Students petitioned for department status last year for Asian American Studies and Latina Studies. Although the new council doesn't fulfill this request, it will give the programs more autonomy, especially in hiring.
Some people in Evanston are upset tonight over plans to renovate the Robert Crown Community Center. The project, originally estimated to cost $30 million in 2015, will now cost taxpayers more than $50 million. That increase in cost was caused by inflation and other unexpected costs. Northwestern agreed to donate $1 million to the project for students to use the ice rink at the center. Construction started on the building last summer and is set to wrap up by the end of the year. Evanston community members met again last week to discuss ways to repurpose the Harley Clark Mansion. More than 60 people brainstormed ideas ranging from restaurants to concert spaces. Aldermen are expected to decide on the future of the historic mansion. The Harley Clark community said they are taking the public's input into consideration before meeting with the City Council about next steps. Rupa, it's been a chilly few days on campus, but things really heated up at the Special Olympics, Chicago's annual polar plunge.
Our Cyrus Singh shows it's a cause worth freezing for.
4,500 people braced the freezing cold waters of Lake Michigan for the 19th annual polar plunge. These fearless souls were freezing for a reason. The plunge raised over $1 million for the Special Olympics Chicago. It is this charitable cause that sets the celebratory mood of the entire event, and it is the reason that volunteers like Alex Cav return year after year.
Every time that they come together, it's just such a beautiful event where you have so many different people from all the different areas of Chicago. Some people come from out of state to help volunteer, to help with the athletes, and to participate in the event, and it's really been a great experience.
The event is put on by over 600 volunteers, as well as a team of paramedics and firefighters that ensure the safety of the polar plungers. Their presence is especially necessary for first-time plungers like Andrew Johnston, who sometimes are completely unprepared for the frigid cold.
Yeah, I've been in cold water before, but that's probably the coldest I've ever been in my entire life. That, 1 minute window right after getting out of the water where I was just soaking wet and trying to find warm clothes to change into.
Luckily for Andrew, there was a warming station that had hot food and even hotter jams for everyone to enjoy. In addition to the thousands of people who took the plunge, thousands more were there simply to cheer on their friends and watch the insanity. For everyone involved, the polar plunge was a day of some icy cold fun. Cyrus Singh, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Syra. After the break, rent prices peaking in Evanston, how students, businesses, and developers are coping with rising rates.
And it's almost reading week on campus. We have a look at resources to help you cope with end-of-the-quarter stress.
It's already the 5th day of March, but is spring ever coming to Chicago? I'm Hyojin Kim, and I'll tell you, coming up in your 5-day weather forecast.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
A troubling trend has some Northwestern students and Evanston business owners concerned. NNN's Joey Safchuk has more.
That's right. Evanston has lost a significant amount of its affordable housing over the past several years, as many economical rentals have been transformed into condominiums. Local businesses are threatened as well. An increase in property taxes is also to blame. In Evanston, apartments for lease that are perfect for students. Well, perfect, except for rising rent prices.
I think it's a big struggle.
According to a January report conducted by Apartment List, average rent prices have increased 2.3% in Evanston over the past year.
So I think that is not ideal for students, especially low-income and first-generation students.
As of July 2018, the average rent for a 3-bedroom Evanston apartment hovered just below $2,000 a month. And the increasing rent impacts local businesses, too.
Retail in a downtown community keeps the downtown community vital. It keeps people on the streets.
Bookends and Beginnings' home of about 5 years was threatened last September when a developer submitted a plan to construct a 37-story building right on top of the store's property. At first, Nino was optimistic, even if a new space meant higher rent.
I thought, well, we could put in a cafe and maybe we could sell wine.
But then reality settled in.
And you know where all that extra money is going? It's going to go into some landlord's pocket.
The development was not authorized, but rising rent prices are still a concern. Higher property taxes often spur an increase in rent prices, and Evanston's property taxes will go up in 2019, according to the city's budget.
The number one thing that people can do is vote for their local businesses with their wallets.
Tensions between Evanstonians and commercial developers are ongoing. There was recently a planned proposal to build a 13-story office building space in this empty parking lot on the 1700 block of Chicago Avenue.
The building is just too big for that site and damage the integrity of those two landmark properties.
The property, which belongs to the city, sits in between two historic Evanston sites, the Francis Willard House Museum and the Women's Club of Evanston.
Other historic neighborhoods in Evanston, such as this, have been compromised, even sacrificed to development. Do you want that to happen yet again, but this time on our watch?
Last week, Evanston aldermen voted to table the proposal. They're asking the developers for more specific information about plans for the property. As rent prices and property taxes increase, the city is searching for ways to make sure Evanston can still feel like home.
So, Joey, is this only an Evanston issue?
Not at all. There were actually rent price increases in 7 Chicagoland cities in 2018. That being said, last year rent prices in the city of Chicago dipped significantly. The report from Apartment List says most comparable cities across the nation have more affordable housing options than Evanston, but City Council is actively working to change that.
Thanks, Joey. Well, winter quarter is almost over here on campus, which means you're probably feeling a little extra stressed. Weinberg Reading Week officially starts next Wednesday, though with the polar vortex throwing a wrench into class schedules, many professors are holding makeup classes. Students say spring break can't come soon enough.
Honestly, I've just been relaxing, trying to keep my mind right, taking my time and enjoying myself, not trying to work too hard and stress myself out too much, so making sure I take breaks and take care of myself.
If you're feeling overwhelmed, you can call CAPS at the number on your screen.
Reading Week also means over 1,000 students are gearing up for Dance Marathon this weekend. You're looking at the tent set up outside Norris. The primary beneficiary this year is Communities in Schools Chicago, which looks to help improve the graduation rate in Chicago public schools. If you're dancing this weekend, NUDM recommends that you sleep well and eat healthy this week, and stay away from caffeine and alcohol. March is also Women's History Month. This year's theme for the event, decided by the National Women's History Alliance, is Visionary Women, Champions of Peace and Nonviolence, and highlights the different ways women fight conflict in their communities.
We wanted to see if Northwestern students were up on their women's history, so we asked you in this edition of Rock Talk.
Hey everybody, Justin Sweetwood here at The Rock, asking you guys about some women's history trivia.
Rock Talk.
Who was the first woman on the United States Supreme Court?
Is it Sandra Day O'Connor?
It is Sandra Day O'Connor. Okay, it's 1-0. 1-0, so you're up next. We're definitely competing against each other.
Ruth
Ruth Bader Ginsburg?
No, it was Sandra Day O'Connor.
Shoot, I don't know.
Not.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have no idea. How many female presidents has Northwestern University had?
0.
0 is correct.
0.
0.
2?
The answer is 0. Who is the first woman to win a Nobel Prize?
Yeah.
Marie Curie?
Marie Curie is correct.
It's not Jane Goodall, is it?
It is Marie Curie. Marie Curie, yes.
Okay.
Who was the first woman elected to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
I don't know.
Aretha Franklin.
God, I have no idea.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I have no idea.
I don't know either.
Was it Aretha Franklin?
It was Aretha Franklin.
If you have an idea for a future Rock Talk topic, tweet at us at @NNN_news.
Now let's send it over to Hyojung Kim in the studio with your 5-day weather forecast. Hyojung, will this cold ever end?
Hey y'all, I'm Hyojung Kim, and no, it's not getting warm anytime soon. Sorry, folks. It's already March, and March is supposed to be warm and sunny, but that's not necessarily the case where we're living right now. Tomorrow will be the only sunny day of the week with a high of 28 and the low of 12. The following 2 days will be cloudy with a high of 26 and the low of 22 on Thursday, and the high of 35 and the low of 26 on Friday. The weekend will be the warmest days of the week with a high of 42 and the low of 37 on Saturday, and the high of 41 and the low of 30 on Sunday. This comes with a cost though, because it will be raining all weekend. So stay warm, dry, and happy. At least we're done with the snow and almost done with the quarter. I'm Hyojung Kim, and this was your 5-day weather forecast. Back to you.
Thanks, Hyojung. Coming up, popcorn and political activism, how local filmmakers are helping women and people of color find a space on the silver screen.
Plus, you've got to be kidding me. A look at why the Evanston Animal Shelter needs your help right now.
At Northwestern, we're wildcats in every way.
Northwestern, break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all the go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
This week, Chicago had their 4th annual Feminist Film Festival, a 3-day-long event hosting free film showings that embrace the power of difference. NNN's Alexa McHale was there on opening night.
Lights, camera, action. Friday marked opening night of Chicago's Feminist Film Festival, where anyone could come, eat, get their picture in front of the red carpet, and watch the free featured film of the night. As an interested feminist filmmaker, DePaul student Odette Hidalgo came to introduce herself to the industry.
Tell stories, especially from a feminist perspective. I want to meet people just traveling, telling stories that wouldn't be really told.
Behind the scenes, large groups came together, sharing the power of storytelling, and worked tirelessly to put this event on, watching and selecting movies since July.
We have a great crew of volunteers that have helped. We have a bunch of student interns that have been great. We have a pre-screening committee of about 30 people. It's been just a tremendous effort on the part of a number of people who have come together.
The festival aims to make all people feel like they have a place.
One thing we're trying to say is you belong, and there are things about you that are totally okay, and you don't have to change who you are so that you can better suit some kind of like media image.
Chicago's Feminist Film Festival showcases identities that are not usually in mainstream media.
The important thing is just representation and seeing yourself on screen.
And using movie magic to help people better understand each other.
Stories are one way that we can bring people together. Even if you have political differences, a lot of times people can see the same film and have empathy for the characters.
Alexa McHale, Northwestern News Report.
Thanks, Alexa. Now let's send it over to Tiffany Hsu for a look at more stories downtown.
I'm Tiffany Hsu, and this is your Chicago News Update. An Amtrak computer failure that caused massive delays at Union Station in Chicago last Thursday was caused by human error. An Amtrak employee fell onto a switchboard, causing all of those headaches. The signal problems resulted in a halt of all trains for over an hour, causing major delays and stranding thousands of people. A Chicago police officer was demoted after he didn't classify a police shooting, which left a developmentally disabled man wounded, as an aggravated assault to a police officer. That's according to a newly filed lawsuit against the Chicago Police Department. The incident happened in August 2017. The officer involved was off duty at the time. Now a CPD supervisor is suing over claims he was demoted after he didn't file charges against the victim to justify the shooting, though the victim did not appear to do anything wrong. If you feel a little shorter today, that's because the ground beneath Chicago is literally sinking. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says Chicago is at least 4 inches lower than it was 100 years ago. The Earth's crust around southern Lake Michigan is sinking, affecting multiple major cities in the Midwest. These have been your Chicago News highlights. I'm Tiffany Hsu. We'll be right back.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
Well, the cat's out of the bag. It's nearly kitten season. As temperatures warm up, outdoor cats start having litters of their own, and most of them end up in an animal shelter. Our Caitlin Boudreau went to see how the Evanston Animal Shelter is preparing.
Can you purr? Can you hear him purring?
As winter comes to an end, a new season starts at the Evanston Animal Shelter.
It's funny because people call all year round, do you have kittens? Do you have kittens? And we will say, oh no, it's not kitten season.
Right now the Evanston Animal Shelter has about 30 cats, just like Clifford here. Soon, over the next few months, they could see upwards of 150 new kittens.
Somebody will show up at our front door and have a shoebox with 4 or 5 kittens that need care without a mother 24/7.
The shelter is very small. The size of a 3-bedroom apartment. They also take care of dozens of dogs.
We're, as you know, a very small facility, so we couldn't possibly keep all the animals in our care in this building at the same time.
So the shelter relies on foster parents to take care of their furry friends.
We absolutely love having college students. If you live in a dorm, obviously you can't, but people that have apartments or houses that allow pets, we love to have college students.
Some wild cats and wild kits volunteer at the shelter. They say life there is anything but rough.
And so I clean cages and I play with them and I just interact with them so they can be socialized.
This kitten season, they're hoping for a new litter of volunteers. The ultimate goal, for all of the cats in their care to be placed into a warm and loving family.
Clifford, do you want a nice home? I think that's a yes.
Caitlin Boudreau, Northwestern News Network.
If you want to foster a kitten, they say they make great temporary pets for college students. Just head on over to the Evanston Animal Shelter website for more information.
We'll be right back.
At Northwestern, we're wildcats in every way.
Northwestern, break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all the go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
It's our last show of the quarter, and tonight we're saying goodbye to two of our amazing student leaders.
That's right. Andy Weir, one of our co-news directors, and Hyo-jung Kim, our executive producer, have worked so hard behind the scenes over the past few years and helped so many of us learn and grow, myself included. We have a look back at some of their best moments.
I'm Andy Weir here at The Rock, and today we're talking Oscar buzz ahead of this Sunday's Academy Award.
Hi all, welcome to Rock Talk. I'm Hyo-jung Kim, and today we're going to ask Northwestern students to share their funniest parent stories.
They say a firm fit and a tight strap is the key to a good bike helmet. And this is just the first of a number of events ASG is planning on hosting an attempt to increase biker safety along Sheridan Road.
A 20-slide PowerPoint presentation.
If not, they will proceed to a runoff with the top 2 vote getters that will happen sometime in April. Back to you in the studio.
We'll have those stories and more coming up on the Northwestern News Report.
I'm Andy Weir, and coming up, I'll have your 5-day weather forecast.
Well, that looks like so much fun, doesn't it, Alexa?
Let's take a look at your next 5 days. Go ahead and pack your umbrellas because there's a 100% chance of rain. Andy Weir, Northwestern News Report.
And I'm Hyo-jung Kim. Thanks for watching.
Look at them over there in the... Oh, man. They've just made such an impact here on all of us, and it's pretty bittersweet because, you know,
absolutely.
They're going to go on to do incredible things, but we're really going to miss them here.
We will miss you both so much. That's all the time we have for tonight. For all of us here at Northwestern News Network, I'm Rupa Pala.
And I'm Amanda Rooker. Thanks for watching.